This is the PDF that we did last class, and you guys have access to this PDF. It's in the Google Classroom, so feel free to go and download it. And then we just have a couple questions at the end, which is not much questions at all, right? Now, we did all the entire consumer arithmetic in less than 2 hours. We started with salaries. So we started talking about basic wages. When you're doing consumer arithmetic, it have different things we're talking about. So we start talking about basic wages, salaries, what are basic wages, what are overtime wage is, time and a quarter, time and a half, double time, overtime wage, commission when you're a salesman and you're making commission. We talk about taxes. We talk about what is an income tax. And how the government is robbing you with income taxes. We talk about what is a sales tax and the fact that we pay tax on literally everything you buy, land and building tax, and there are other taxes. We talk about sales, so things like profit and loss, percentage and discount, hire purchase. Now you see this section, sales, is a section that is always come in CSEC. So make sure you know this section, right? I mean, I just hardly see anything on taxes coming, you know? But you see this section, know this stuff, right? This is really simple stuff. We talked about banking. Mortgage don't really come, but simple interest does come in pretty much every paper. Every paper for the last 25 years have a simple interest question. Compound interest, not so much, but it is good to know, right? Depreciation, I've never seen it, but it is also good to know. And then we talked about utilities, things like water rates, mail, electric bill, whatnot. And we lastly spoke about foreign exchange, and then we have some questions. So today we're going to go through the same slide and we are going to do all of the questions, especially all of the questions at the end. So we started with wages and salaries, and this is the question here. And of course it's up to you to do the question for me. So let's get it started. Right? How do we do this real quick? The gross monthly salary of a manager getting paid $67.50. Calculate his net annual salary after deductions. So these are the deductions. 1976. My question is, what's the difference between gross and net? What's gross and net? Yeah, so gross is before deductions and net is after deductions, right? So we given his gross salary, right? The monthly gross salary, and they're asking for the net annual salary after these deductions were made monthly. The deductions were made monthly. So how we could do this quick? And the monthly salary multiplied by 12. So 67915 multiplied by 12. So calculator lady, where's this one? 1976 by 12. What you walking, boy? And where's this one here? 518. Oh, 582. Ah, boy, I like it. So, this here is the yearly deduction. And this here is the yearly gross. So what do I want? I want the yearly net. So the yearly net is after deductions. So therefore I'm going to take this 85, so 8580, and I'm going to minus the deductions, 23,712, and that gives us, that is fine. 56 what? 868. Alright, that's cool. So this here is the net annual salary, right? And of course, you'll write it a lot better than me. Make statements and things. Like how would you put this in a statement? Like to answer this question properly. Because it's CSEC we're talking about here. So how would you answer this question properly, especially in a paper 2? This is fine. what you did here, of course, just have better handwriting, but yearly deductions, just telling people what you did, right? Just making it clear what you did. Remember, the whole game in CSEC is you have a human being who is marking your paper. That man probably had a long, hard day of marking some horrible papers. So when he come across your paper after a long, hard day, you want to make your paper as easy to mark as possible, right? So this is fine. This is fine. And of course, you could go a little bit more detailed with it, right? But just make sure that everything is labeled so that the person who is marking it could understand. So we have two basic wages questions here. So let's try. A refinery operator works a basic week of 35 hours at a basic rate of $14.75. Calculate the basic wage for that week. Thank you very much. So at the end of the day, you have to know here the words basic rate, and basic rate is paid per hour, right? And then you have to know basic week. A basic week is usually 40 hours. 40 hours is 5 days at 8 hours a day. But he had to work 35 for his basic. So it would be 35 multiplied by 1475. Calculator lady, what is that? 25. So my boy working for $5.16.25. Not a bad amount of money. And well, this one is just the current minimum wage of Trinidad and Tobago, which I think is $17.50 or something like that right now. I can't remember exactly what it is, but something somewhere around there. Right? We're talking about overtime rates, and these are the overtime rates: time and a quarter, time and a half, double time, triple time. So 1.25, 1.523. Question. A secretary works 35-hour work week. So a 35-hour work week. So that's a basic week. For which she is paid this for the week. You notice they didn't use the words basic rate. Right? A basic rate is by the hour, but this is per week, right? She works 6 hours overtime on Saturday. So let's give it some notes, right? And this is the statements I'm talking about. Basic week 262.50, right? That is what she paid, right? 6 hours overtime on Saturday, which is paid for time and a half. So overtime on Saturday is time and a half, right? Which is 6 hours. So how much is she paid for on Saturday? How much is she paid? And then 4 hours on Sunday. So 4 hours on Sunday, which is double time. Okay? And that is overtime on Sunday. So this is the information the question is given. Notice hours. Notice this is a week. Right? 35-hour week. Yeah. So if I normally just get paid $10 for the hour, that is 100%. Right? So time and a half is 150%. So I'm getting the 100% plus again 50 more. So I'll be getting $15 for the hour. You understand? Should say? Right? So in this case, what I need to do is I need to take this and multiply it by 1.5 because it's time and a half. Right? And then that is what? 750 times 1.5. is 11.25 per hour by 6. When my calculator lady, 67.50 on Saturday is what she made. You understand what's going on there, Shizzy? Right, so you actually made, that's why people will be fighting to make to do overtime. So this one is multiplied by 2, right? And that'll give me what, $15? $7.50 times 2. $15 per hour, which is multiplied by 4, which is, and I'll put 4 Saturday here. And this one is what, 15 by 4 is? Calculator lady, where you? For Sunday. Caitlin's still there? Ooh. Calculator lady, you're starting to stick, eh? You're starting to stick, right? So, right. But you notice the statements, right? I'm just making sure that all of the numbers have some kind of a label, so that they know. Don't just go and start writing numbers all over the place. I put that the basic rate here is $7.50. So when I use $7.50 here, they know it's the basic rate, right? You notice how I put this in line here, so that when I multiply it by 1.5, they know it's because of time and a half. When I multiply it by 2, they know it's because of double time. Yeah, and then for 6 hours, or you could even put 6 hours, just to make it clearer. But really and truly, making proper statements is just really about labeling all of your numbers, not just writing numbers all over the place, right? A car salesman is paid a basic wage of that, right? $600. A basic wage of $600. So I guess that's for a basic week. I'm assuming, right? In addition, he is paid a commission of 1.5% of the value of any car that he sells. During a certain week, he sold these 2 cars, one for $97,000 and one for $6,800. Number 1, where's the commission he received? So 1.5, right? 1.5% is 1.5 out of 100. Right? That's what 1.5% is, and that is being multiplied by 97,000. Calculator lady, right? I'm leaving that for you, and well, I wouldn't put number 2, and then I'll find for the other car, right? 1.5% of 68,700. Calculator lady, where's these 2? So this is what he made from each car sold, and then what was his gross wage that week? So is this plus this plus the 600. The other calculator lady want to help us with this? Or the other calculator lady bust up? 3,085.50. Thank you very much. It's so nice to have these 2 very efficient calculator ladies here. This is really wonderful. You all are making my Saturday, so much happier. Right, so we're talking about taxes now. And taxes is the way that the government is trying to steal your soul. However, taxes are very, very important because, yeah. But taxes are, it is why I have a road outside. So it's important to pay your taxes, right? So a married man with 2 children, at the end of the day, the taxes just give you an allowance. Because the government does like to remind us that we are standard 5 children and they need to give us an allowance, right? So they need to allow we to live now. So these are the allowances for this question, right? Now what is an allowance? Well, we'll find out what an allowance is just now. A married man with 2 children, a married man with 2 children, age 17. So one age 17 is over 16 years old, and one age 9 years old that is under 11. Right? So, okay. Earns this amount per annum. Per year, he earns $25,600. He supports a dependent relative and also claims for his national insurance allowance. Calculate his total allowance. Yeah, so that is the part of the allowance is a part of your salary that they're not going to tax. Yeah? So they are not going to tax this portion of your salary because they say, you know what, you need this money, right? So his full salary here is $25,600, and his allowances are all of these added up. So calculator people, what are all of these added up? Let me see if I can do it faster than others. 4075. So the deductions are 4075. Right? And when you subtract that, what you get? 525. Right? So this here, they're not going to tax this. So he don't have to worry about that. But this part of his salary, they are going to tax. And they will tax it. And they will tax it very, very much. Yeah? So the amount he pays in tax per annum is levied at 40%. And I think these two are supposed to be one question. But 40% of that going in tax. So how much taxes he had to pay? How much taxes he had to pay will be 40%. 8,000. So how much money that he actually get to carry home at the end of the year? So how you got that? You just take this and minus this? Right. So this here represents the amount of money he gets after tax. Yeah, but then you had to add back this, his allowances, because this is how much money. 16,900. Okay. But Caitlin is relieved that Soraya has taken over as calculator lady. But no, Caitlin, your day has come. Your day has come, right? Sales tax. Everything you buy does get taxed. In the Caribbean, the VAT payable on items is 15%. The price of an automatic washer without VAT is that. Calculate the price of the washer after that. How you get that? 15% of this, and that is what? And so therefore price after that therefore price after that is calculator lady, the original calculator lady. Where? 93.95. Yes, thank you very much for being there when we really needed you. You see, I tell you today was your day. I tell you that, right? Right, land and building tax, because the government likes to tax everything. So the relatable value of a house, the rateable value of a house is this. Now remember what we were saying about rateable value. Rateable value is always much less than the real value of the house. Okay? And the rateable value depends on the size, location, all of that, and we did is get the rateable value by doing a valuation. Right? So the rateable value is this. Given that the rates charged for that area is 25 cents on the dollar, determine the amount of money the owner pays in rates per annum. So what is rates? Remember what we're saying here is the annual taxes paid by owners of land, right? Is rates. So the word rates is the taxes. So they're asking how much taxes the man pay in a year, right? Each property by the government is given a rateable value. So this rateable value for this profit is this, right? And they are taxing him 25 cents on the dollar of the rateable value. So this is a quarter, right? So they're taxing you a quarter of the rateable value. So a quarter of the rateable value is how much? Right? So this is the amount of money that is paid per annum, right? Keeper buys 25 cricket balls at a cost of $150. Right? Not each, $150 for all of them. He sells each of them for $8. Did he make a profit? What is the percentage profit that he made? Not just the profit, but the percentage profit. Calculator lady, just because you're on the calculator, you know, that don't mean you can't chime in. Alright, so 25 times 8 is 200. Alright, so that means he made a profit of $50. Because he paid $150 for all of them, and he made 200, right? So he made a profit of 50. How do I find out the profit percentage? So the profit, which is 50, over the cost price, which is what, 150, multiplied by 100, 0.3%. Good job. Shazay, you okay with that so far? Right? He sells them for $5 each. Where's the loss now? $25 by 5. 25 by 5. 125. 125. So he made a loss of $25. So this loss percentage is 25 over 150 multiplied by 100 over 1, which is 0.6% loss. Nice, very nice. Nice and easy today. Yeah. Percentage change. Ooh, I remember this one. Let's see if you guys remember this one. A man sold a refrigerator. So the selling price is this. Right? Making a 15% profit on the cost price. What is the cost price? So he sold for $2,700, and from selling this he made a 15% profit. Yeah. What is the cost price? So imagine this sold price, right? Inside of here, this sold price, inside of here, it have the cost price and it have the profit inside of here. Yeah. So the cost price is 100%, is what you say. Right? So the cost price is 100%, and then he make 15% profit. So therefore this 2745 is equal to 115%. Let me just write that over correctly. So 115% is 2745. If you want, you could just find 1% is 2745 all over 115. And then you can find 100%, which is the cost price, right? So so that's this multiplied by 100. Yeah. So calculator lady, 2745 divided by 115 multiplied by 100. I beat you to it. Yeah. So this this was the cost price, and you can see that it is lower than the selling price. You understand, Shazay? I love those little mistakes, right? Like when Soraya made the time mistake just now, and when Shazay made this mistake, you know, it is really exposed some of our weaknesses, and it's really good to have those weaknesses exposed, so that in exam you can be careful about that, your reasoning, right? So you understand the reasoning here. So in this case, the woman sold the car for $21, so the selling price is $21.49, and she made a loss of 12%. Where's the cost price? Shazay, try this one. But listen to the reasoning, right? If she made a loss of 12%, right? Just remember, this cost price is always 100%, right? So if she made a loss of 12%, the cost price is 100%. She made a loss of 12%, so that means that the selling price was 88%. Okay? Yes. So if the selling price is 88%, then 1% will be what? Which is 24.42, sure. No. The full 100, so the 100% is what? So where's the full 100? Right, 24.42. So you can see here that this cost price was more than the selling price, and so she made a bit of a loss, right? So glad that I'm doing over these questions here. So we have a TV, nice easy question. A TV is selling, so the selling price is $19.50. Right? A discount, a 10% discount is offered. What is the sale price? So this is selling for $19.50 with a discount of 10%. What is the sale price? That's the discount. Oh, okay, right. So, the discount is $195. Very good. And then the selling is, so now we can say $19.50 minus $195. So the sale price is what? $17.95. Good job. The selling price of a TV. So the TV selling at $6,980. Right? If the customer pays cash, right, they get a 12% discount. So cash discount. And we are going to work this whole question. We are going to work the discount part. We don't need to. We just work the discount question, right? If the TV is bought on hire purchase, the customer pays. So for hire purchase, what is the hire purchase? A down payment, down fee of $628.20. Plus 24 monthly payments of $344.06. Right? So the price bought in cash, you just find the 12% discount, which is what we just did. So go study it. The higher purchase price. What's the higher purchase price of this thing now? The down payment is $628, and then you have to pay 24 monthly payments of $344.06. So the higher purchase price, or the Harry Potter price, is $344.06 multiplied by the 24, this is 24 months, plus your down payment, $624. So what do we have here? Thank you very much, calculator lady. A house is costing $150,000 and can be bought by making a 10% deposit and taking a bank mortgage. So the cost is $150,000, right? And you have the 10% bank, the 10% deposit, and the mortgage is what? Mortgage. I hate how they spell mortgage. Mortgage. And the mortgage is what? The amount paid to the bank given monthly payments of, so the mortgage that they had to pay to the bank is $2,250 a month for 20 years. So the question is, if you take in the cost is $150,000, you can't afford that, so you take a mortgage. The mortgage say you had to pay 10% up front. So how much is the amount you're paying up front? $15,000 deposit. And then how much you're paying in mortgage over 20 years? How you get that? 250 monthly payment multiplied by what? By what? 240? Because no, yeah, for the whole 20 years. Because remember, all right. So remember, this is the monthly, yeah. So the monthly means that over 20 years by 12 means that we'll have 240 months, right? 240 months times 2250 is 540,000. So how much you're actually paying for the house now? Plus the deposit that you paid before. Look at that. And the house costs $150. Look at how much money the bank make on your head. Principal by rate by time. Simple interest. Principal by rate by time. Let me see if you can finish by half full. Over 100. Right? That is all you had to know for a simple interest question. A woman borrowed. This is the principal. Is it the principal? Maybe. From a bank at a simple interest rate. This is the rate. And this is the time. Calculate the simple interest paid. Simple interest is the principal times the rate times the time in years. So you don't convert it to months. When we work in simple interest, your time is usually in years, right? So over 100, which is what does this work out to be? My original calculator lady, who I have not heard from for the last 20 minutes. Thank you. 2,400 in interest. So if you borrow $10,000, she paying back the 10,000 plus the interest, which is 2,400. So she paying back 12,400. That's how much she paying back. Right? So simple interest is not really as bad as say a mortgage, right? because you're dealing with smaller percentages over a shorter time. The simple interest on a sum of money invested for 6 months. So this is your time, 6 months. This is your rate, 5% per annum. Is this? This is your simple interest. They actually give you the simple interest. Determine the amount of money invested. They want your principal. So simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. They gave you the simple interest, 1680. That is equal to the principal, which is what you want to find, by the rate, which is 5, by the time. They gave you 6 months, but you want your time in years. So that's actually half of a year, right? Over 100. And how much does this work out? Well, it's not going to work out enough when we have to make subject to the formula kind of business going on here. So that means that principal is going to be equal to the 1680 times 100 all over 5 times a half. What is that going to be? 1680 times 100 divided by I guess 67,200. Alright. You all understood how I did this question though? Yeah. So essentially now, what you have to remember is for simple interest, this is all you really have to remember. The formula. Principal by rate by time over 100. You just need to identify in the question who is who. They tell you in the question, the simple interest is this. They tell you that. Right? The simple interest on a sum of money invested for 6 months. So this is supposed to be it. I guess so the question gave it wrong. I didn't get it wrong. Right? Or maybe I did. I don't know. Who knows? Right? But it's supposed to be it. So this is the simple interest. So that's why I put the simple interest here. Right? This here is your time. Time is months. Right? So this here is years. 6 months is half of a year. This here is 5%, which is the rate. Right? And this is the interest. So what I did was I just take the rate and take the principal because they wanted the principal. So you take the principal and make it the subject to the formula. So I just take the 100 and fling it across. So it'll be 1680 times 100. And I just take this 5 times a half and fling it across. So it'll be divided by 5 times a half. So the simple interest on this. So this is your principal. The simple interest on that invested for 6.5 years, that's your time, is this. This is the simple interest. So calculate the rate. The simple interest equals principal by rate by time over 100. So the simple interest is 3867.50. That is equal to the principal, which is 8,500, multiplied by the rate which we want to find, multiplied by time, which is 6.5. all over 100. I have to make a rate be subject to the formula, so I'll bring the 100 across, so it'll be 3867.50 multiplied by 100, right? And then that'll be divided by, I'll bring in this stuff, the 85 times this, because remember associative law, so I can multiply these two before I multiply the R. So I'm taking this and bringing it across, so it'll be divided because they're both being multiplied by the R. So now they'll both be divided on the other side. 500 times 6.5, and my calculator people, see if you can rectify your calculator woes. Give me a correct and confirmed and verified twice answer. That can be is a rate. A rate is a percent. Wow, 7 exactly. 7%. So you see, just to make sure, Soraya, I worked out the numerator and then I worked out the denominator separately. Yeah? And you see, even in this, even though algebra is not involved, but look at how much algebra we had to use. You know, you just use algebra for everything. Algebra is absolutely involved, right? So did you end up getting the 7, Soraya? Careful with that calculator, young lady, right? What are we talking about here? We're talking about compound interest. Calculate the compound interest earned and the total amount occurring when $10,000 is invested at 8% per annum for 3 years. So we work out the interest after the first year is what? $10,000 times 8% times 1, the first year. So with compound interest, we had to work out each year, right? All over 100. And what does this work out to be? 800, right? So now after the first year, I invested 10,000, and after the first year, I got an interest of 800. So now I have 10,800, right? I got an interest after the first year. I got back an interest, which means that I got back my principal and my interest because I invested the money. I invest 10,000, so I get back 10,800 after first year. So then after the second year, I'll put this new as the new principal, right? 10,800 multiplied by 8 times 1, because it's still 1 year we're checking for, but it's the second year. So what does I get for here? Nice. And now this will be my principal for the third year. 11,664 times the rate times 1 year all over 100. Nothing can cross off there, so somebody had to calculate it out for me. 11,664 933.12 and add that to this last value. $11,664. Right, so when you invest 10,000 over 3 years using compound interest, you can see that the principal is changed every year. Yeah, every year you have to add the first principal, then you add your interest on to get the new principal, then you add your interest onto that to get the other principal, and you have to work it 1 year at a time. There is an easier way to work it. The easier way to work it is using this formula, and we have the exact same question here, but we are using a formula this time. So A is the amount of money that after n years is equal to the principal into 1 plus the rate over 100, all to the power of the amount of years. And this should give us the same answer. So I'll work out inside the brackets first. 1 plus 0.08 cubed exact same thing. 12, 5, 9, 7. So I worked out inside here first, and then I cubed it. You guys know how to do that with your calculator? No? Yes. I know I'm losing all you now, so let's try to finish this. Depreciation. Right. And we do have all of these utilities questions here, but I want to get to the questions at the end. So let's skip all of those questions because we looked at all of those last week. Let's get to these questions at the end. And over here, I have 4 simple interest questions. So let's look at these simple interest questions quick, right? Alvin opened a savings account with $2,400 or $24,000 at the birth of his daughter. The account pays 8% simple interest. How much interest will be made on the account after 10 years? What is the value of the account when his daughter turns 18? So how do we do A? How much interest is on the account? So simple interest, this is all you need to know. Principal by rate by time over 100. These questions are CSEC past paper questions, by the way, right? So what do we have here? The principal is 24,000 times the rate of 8%, and the time is 10 years, all over 100. Zap, 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 zap. 240 times 80. Yes, 19,200, and this is just the interest, right? Right? So how much the account would have in it would be 24 plus this, right? That's how much the account would actually have in it. This is just the interest you're looking at here, right? Part 2. What is the value of the account when his daughter turns 18? So that would be the simple interest. You have to find out the interest first. 24,000 times the rate times the time, which is 18 years over 100. How much does that work out to be? $34,560, and you add this to the original 24,000 to give you what? How much? And this is how much he actually has in the account. But guess what? An account that paid 8% interest, that was 20 years ago. State of the world economy right now, you're going in the bank does no longer pay any interest, which is sad. You cannot get a savings account with a nice, good bit of interest. Right now, if you're lucky, you might get 1.5% interest, if you're lucky, right? Anna starts a fixed deposit with 178,000. The bank offers, so this is the principal, this is the rate, 9.5% simple interest for 8 months. So this is the time, but the time is in months. You have to change it to years. So that'll be 8 over 12 years, right? So this is the time, right? She has the option of restarting the investment using the interest earned as the principal or cashing out at the end of 8 months. Right? So at the end of 8 months, so I'm guessing that you're gonna have to, I wonder if you had to use, you're gonna have to use 8 over 12. 8 over 12, because your rate is a yearly rate. It's a yearly rate, right? So calculate the interest due after 8 months. So the interest, simple interest, is your principal times your rate times your time, which is 8 over 12, all over 100. Somebody tell me what that is? 11,000.33. Nice. So this is the amount after 8 months. The interest is 11,000. The interest, right? So she is. Wait, I wish I could get a thing and make that kind of interest, right? So let's talk about this, how she restarts the investment, right? If she restarts the investment into a new one, calculate the total value of the investment at the end of the second 8 months. So at the end of the day, when she finished the 8 months, she will get back this plus the investment, 178,000. And she will get back this plus the investment. So this plus the investment is what? Plus 178,123. Oh. And that is 189,273.33. So this is the balance. This is the principal. So she say here she has the option of restarting the investment using the interest earned as principal, right? For the other 8 months, right? So this now is kind of like a compound interest, I guess. So you just go through the same thing. You calculate the interest, calculate the total value of the investment at the end of, so you have to find out the interest after the second 8 months. So it'll be this principal times 9.5 times 8, the 8 over 12, because it's 8 months, all over 100. Nice. And then when you add that on to the original, when you had to add that on to this now, and that's the total value of the investment at the end of the second 8 months. Very good. Good job, guys. So yes. So essentially the point is that when you have a simple interest question, all you need to know is that formula. Principal by rate by time. And we don't even really need to do these two. Clive started an account in 2005 with $8,500. He checked the account again in 2017 and found that the value was this. I wish. It was so long time, long time, your saving account, the bank putting money into your account because the bank paying you interest. But now, no. That's not happening, right? Calculate the amount of interest gained. Calculate the interest rate. So how much interest did he gain? It's an easy one. Pretty much, that's it, right? So this 17,068 minus 8,500 is 8,568. Yeah, so this is the interest. Alright, so now how do I find out the rate? Simple interest is principal by rate by time over 100. Alright, so the interest is 8,568 is equal to the principal is 8,500 times the rate, which is what we want to find, times the time. The time is what? 17 minus 5. 12 years over 100. Right? So therefore my rate is going to be 8,568 times 100 divided by 8,500 times 12. 8.4%. So you can see here that sometimes they will try to change it up, sometimes they'll try to be sneaky about it, but at the end of the day, a simple interest question, basically you just need to know that formula and you will get through. But we just check this last one quick, and then we just have a couple of multiple choice and we'll call that a D, right? Pauline borrows a loan, so she's borrowing a loan of 100 120,000. Right? For 3 years. So I guess this is the principal. This is the time, it's 3 years, at the rate of 11.5%. Calculate the total interest due on the loan. So simple interest is just simply the principal times the rate times the time all over 100. Zap, zap. Zap, zap, 1200 times 11.5 times, how much? 41,400 is the interest that she's going to have to pay. So you borrow $120,000, you had to pay back $120,000 plus this interest, 41,400, right? If she is required to repay in monthly installments, how much will she pay per month? So she has to repay what? She don't have to repay this year. She have to repay this plus 120,000, which is what? And she has to repay this. If she is required to repay in monthly installments, how much will she repay per month? I guess it's 3 years, right? So how many months in 3 years? So every month she had to pay 4,483, right? And what is the bank's profit as a percentage of the loan amount? So how much percentage profit they're bringing in? So at the end of the day, the bank making this. This is the profit the bank making. The bank lend out the 120 and they get back the 120. And this is the profit. So the profit would be, percentage profit would be this over 120,000 multiplied by 100 over 1. Is that it? Or am I mixing it up? Yes, zap, zap. 34. So they made a 34.5% profit. Sneaky, sneaky banks. Eh? For the multiple choice, you do not have your calculator. Eh? So for that exam, you're not allowed a calculator. So a store charges 6% VAT on all sales. Right? What is the total cost of a shirt marked at that? And how you find that? 6% of zap zap 18 over 10, which is 1.8. Nice. Number 2. Jake buys a t-shirt marked at $80. He receives 10% discount. How much does he pay? Alright, so 10% of 80 is 8. And so that's minus 80 minus 80, 72. Right. The cost price of an article is $40. CP $40, right? The profit is 20% of the cost price. So the profit is 20% of the cost price. What is the selling price? Oh, sorry, I did not think there. Of the cost price. 40, zip, 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 zip. 40 is at 8, so it is $48. Very good. After a 10% discount, An article is sold for is that 300 or is that $3? 360. Okay. After a 10% discount, the article is sold for 360. The price before the discount was what? Well, 90% is 360. So 1% is 360 over 90. And 100%, 9 threes are 36, right? So 100% will be this 3 times 100. How do you get 400? Why do? Yeah, but I need a logical way of working it out. Where is it? So I do that wrong. Okay, yeah, it's 4. Yeah, 9 4s are 36. Sorry, I made the same mistake just now. And imagine all of this is on the record, so it's going on YouTube that I don't know my timetables. Yeah, so it does work out to be 400. And how we got that is a 10% discount, so that means that 90% is your 360. So therefore 1% is 360 over 90, which is 4. Therefore, 100% is going to be 400, 4 times 100, right? Yes. We need the logical ways of doing things. The marked price of a stove is $250. I woke up. Sorry. Our teaching since 5 o'clock this morning, right? My eyes. It says 9 o'clock this morning. You see, I say 5 o'clock. I don't know what's going on with me, but wow. Yeah, I am mixing up time and money as well. Look at that, right? The price of a stove is $520. Okay, Kevin, get it together, right? A worker bought the stove on hire purchase. Oh God, well, he done set himself up already by making a down payment of $100, 12 monthly payments of $40 each. How much could she have saved if she bought the stove at normal price? So $100 plus 12 monthly payments of $40 each is what? So she could have saved $60, eh? That wasn't that bad. Normally higher purchases cut your throat. US $1 is equivalent to EC 268. How much US will I get for 100 EC? So let's look at the reasoning for it. 268 EC is equal to 1 US. Right? So therefore 1 EC is equal to 1 divided by 268 US. So therefore 100 EC is 1 divided by 268 multiplied by 100, which is 268, so which is 100 divided by 2.68, which is 37.31 US. Makes sense, eh? Yeah, you understand that, Soraya? Yeah. Especially with the easy things. You see in our multiple choice will take advantage of you with the easy questions. Because the easy questions, you just tend to want to just make a quick judgment and move on fast. Yeah? But the easy questions is the ones that you should take your time to make sure you get right. Yeah? So all of these are lovely, lovely mistakes, by the way. I love our little group and how we just make mistakes all the time. It's nice, right? The simple interest on 160, so this is the principal, for 6 months, this is the time, and the rate is simple interest, principal by rate by time, which is a half, over 100. 5% per annum. Zip, zip. 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 10 is 2. 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 6 is 8. 8 times a half is 4. You all get $4? Alright, good job guys. So that was consumer arithmetic.